What up, Pittsburgh Steelers fans? It is Matty P and Marky D. The live chat's going nuts. We were late. We had tech issues. We had toilet time from my end. We had all sorts of things. But we're here. We're live. We're looking at the 2020 draft class. But before we get into that, Marky D, I'm going to ask how you're doing. And then I've got one little quick little rant that I've just been saying.
Oh, yeah. You know what? We'll just getting the crowd pumped up. You know when I went and saw Guns N' Roses, right, back in the day, we waited until 11 p.m. 11 p.m.
I hate when they do that.
You know what?
When they wait too long.
Axl Rose, he wouldn't get off the plane until 10:30. Like he wouldn't leave the tarmac until like real late. There was 2 pre-shows. That's what they always did. They didn't come on stage till they really, really wanted to. But we're going to leave it that late. But there's Maurice. He says, "F yeah, I'm here on time." That's the bloke calls me a fake Aussie. You know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Nah, they're good. He's
Why
good.
Did he call you a fake Aussie?
Do you remember he called me a fake Aussie? Oh, which I can't remember which live that was. No, that was our show the other day. We did live. He called me a fake Aussie. You don't remember, do you?
Oh man. No, I don't.
It doesn't matter. But what's your rant?
Oh, well, sorry, I just watched Pro Football Reference again. Hit me with an ad as I was going to blow up the screen. I kind of.
What is it, mate?
How do I put this? I'm just sick of the negativity that's gripping Steeler Nation. I know you talked about this on your show. I got to get off my chest. I've had enough. Like, if you don't like the team, don't watch the team. If you want to rant and rave about the team, fine. But like, keep it to yourself. Like most of Steeler Nation, the silent majority, want the Steelers to do well. A pump for this team. Let's go. Here we go. Now, yes, you and I do a podcast, do a show, do a YouTube. We have to provide some takes. We've all got opinions. I'm not saying people don't have opinions. But I'm sick of hearing, Kenny Pickett's not the guy. Fire Mike Tomlin. This guy's crap. That guy's crap. This guy can't do anything, right? Like when I say I trade a player, it's because, A, I think you can use that to get better somewhere else, or I don't think that person's necessarily benefiting the team. Therefore, lower your salary cap cost, get some draft capital back. I'm not always saying this is the worst player ever. There are a couple of them like that have been on the Steelers recently, like Marcus Allen. That's fine. But I'm getting really over. And to be fair, it's probably not even our live chat. I'm just saying it in general. I'm saying, like, if you are listening to our show, if you are subscribing to our show, if you're not subscribing, you should be. But like, if you're not, just ignore all that irrelevant crap and be pumped for the Steelers. Why do we watch? What, like, if you care enough to tweet about the Steelers in June or end of May, a month after the draft, then you should love them enough to just go, maybe they're going to do all right. Maybe one of the most winningest franchises in all of sports, particularly American football. Maybe they're going to do all right. Maybe Mike Tomlin, who's never had a losing season or finished 4th in the North, is going to do all right. I just got to get off my chest. I appreciate everyone listening to it. It's just driving me insane, man. Like, it's got to the point where I go when I want, like, when you and I aren't talking about Steelers, I'm off playing Steelers Madden, living in my own fantasy, even though it's a shit game, just so that I can enjoy and I can be away from all this. This person's the worst person on earth, and the jumping to conclusions. It's just driving me insane. Anyway, with that, let's get into the 2020 draft class.
Now let's keep going. Keep going.
I could get angry. But exactly, Jared never brings it up. Like, energy better spent supporting the team. Like, Gene Smith, do they understand how scary our O&D lines are?
Mate.
Imagine Kenny with time to throw. Like, what he did at Pitt, you look at the slants to Addison, he had time to throw. Yeah, they were quick slants, but he had time to actually go, oh, and obviously people who listen to the audio won't see me moving my head like the stupid clown at the fair. But, like, you actually can look around and go, Oh, this guy's open. That guy's not open. Like, he missed 3 passes in the Jets game. They were interceptions. 2 of them shouldn't have been interceptions. He didn't even play. People go like, he played 12 games and he only had 7 TDs and 9 interceptions. Well, actually, he played less than half of the Jets game technically. Like if you look at the snaps, he only played 48% of the offensive snaps, and he only played through the first quarter, I think it was, in the Ravens game. So let's call it 10 games. Let's count the 3 rushing touchdowns. Then it's 10 games, 10 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. 2 of them are not really even his fault. Like, I know there are ifs and there's a few buts there, but like, come on. It's not that bad. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Like,
what about the back-to-back game-winning drives that has a football in Canton?
Correct. Exactly. You know, I put out a tweet this week. There was a question of who's the most clutch player in the NFL. I argue with someone to tell me which quarterback is more clutch than Kenny Pickett down the last 5 games of those seasons of the last season.
Did he have one of the highest
rookie behind that O-line? You know, with the number 2 wide receiver was a rookie. Najee Harris was still coming back into his own. Like, Pat Freeman is the only real tight end that could catch on that team, apart from Connor Haywood. Connor Haywood's a rookie. Like, but again, behind that O-line. So everyone, let's get pumped for the season. I love it.
Didn't Kenny, wasn't he like top 10 in the last is it 6 games or something like that? He was top 10 quarterback.
Yeah,
I think. Something like that. It was a stat like that. So I agree with you 100%. I think we should enjoy the journey. And if it all, I said in my video the other day, if it all fails and he's a bad quarterback in 3 years' time, you go get a new one. You go to the draft and get a new one. But it's okay to be hyped around Kenny Pickett, and it is really fun right now with all the offseason moves. It's fun to be behind the team, and you're right. This offensive line is going to give him a big chance to be successful. And I'm not talking about being number 1 quarterback. I'm just talking about being win games, throw the ball down the field, find your targets, and advance to win, to put yourself in a position to win.
But what I don't get is, like, why hate it now, right? Why hate it now? Because when it's good,
yeah,
you can't jump on the train and say, "Oh, but you can't pick a fans instead." No, you can't. You can't.
I'd rather be on a train now and like watch it derail than try and catch up to one.
So I'm a bit of a clean freak. This is how high I am on Kenny Pickett. I'm a clean freak. I haven't watched the jersey I got for him when it arrived just a week before Christmas. He hasn't lost in that jersey. I ain't washing that jersey until he loses, right? I'm worried that I'm going to be wearing a stinky jersey through most of next season.
Is that your color rush one?
Yeah, my color rush run. Yeah.
So what's the record? Jersey. What's the record in that? Do you just wear that for what games?
It's 3-0. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
And I've got another thing, which I won this. I've got a very forgiving fiance. We have for the ornament for the tree, a Steelers like station wagon, right, with a Christmas tree on top. I don't know, it's about this long. I got it from Heinz Field when I went there, right. That went on the tree on like the 7th of December. The Steelers hadn't lost a game. So the tree was in a corner of the room where there's a shelf on the wall. The truck, the ornament, sits on the shelf. It doesn't go with all the rest of the style of the house. I know it frustrates her, but I've said I am not moving it from that corner of the house until the Steelers lose. Like, yes, it sounds very superstitious.
You're going to have all these things in your house where you can't move anything. You can't move the toaster. You can't move, the blinds will be a certain level, Like, don't you stand there every time now.
Yeah, same. I'm the same. I only hand wash them. Yeah. But also, most of my jerseys are the legend ones that are like a synthetic, just because it's really hot in the summer in Australia. They're also cheaper, so you can get more.
Do you know anyway, one more thing. You know what's kind of funny about this stuff too is I was thinking the other day as well. What I'm saying, I'm on the hype train now. I don't want to wait like 3 years for him to be good, because this is the fun part. This is the fun part for every quarterback, every new player. You watch the journey go on. Then the next minute,
but think about like how much we all back. Sorry, like I just want to build on your point there.
Yeah.
We think about like people think about Ben to AB and Ben to Hines Ward. We got that right now. We got that going on between Pickett to Pickens, man. Like that's what's happening.
Pickett to Pickens. But why do we have to wait to see that when he's good to be top 5 and then start watching or cheering on? I think it's good now to watch him and watch him develop now. I think is quite an exciting time. Not only for like Steelers fans, but think of the kids out there. The kids would be loving this stuff. If you got like young children who are Steelers fans, KP8 and Kenny Pickett is the new guy in town. And that's what we're all trying to get behind.
A guy I follow on Twitter had a cool Air Pickens t-shirt. I found the company that makes them. They look cool. They've also got a mug you can get which says Kenny Pickett, small hands, big balls. I love it, man. I love this. I was going to get one, but the shipping's too expensive to get out of here. But Gene Smith says never wash your jerseys. If they get too dirty, burn them. I don't know about that, man.
That's like my terrible towel.
You wouldn't burn the flag. You wouldn't. I don't think you burn.
No, I think he's saying he never gets it dirty because with my terrible towel, I never wash it because it never gets dirty. Like it never touches the ground.
Yeah. I get you. So it's the same thing. Yeah. Right. Cool. All right. Well, let's get into the 2020 draft class. I will bring that up for everybody. And hopefully Pro Football Reference doesn't autoplay ads after I press pause. Like it's ridiculous. How hard is it to get an ad right? So I mean that's not very big for everyone. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Cool. All right. So obviously they picked Chase Claypool first. The Steelers didn't have a first round draft pick in 2020 because we know obviously in 2019 they flipped that for Minka. We're grading the draft picks. So you can't. If you're grading the draft, you factor in Minka. If you're grading the draft picks, you don't. Now, Mark, we're going to do numbers like we have for the other ones because that's really cool because we can do a number over the last few years. So we've got the 6 players here, and obviously we want the live chat play along with us as well and give your number ratings too. Let's go with Claypool, the funny thing about Claypool is that Claypool became our first pick because we traded for Minka. Mm-hmm. Claypool got traded, and then we got Joey Porter Jr. So Claypool's NFL narrative with the Steelers is all about the trade.
He announced Pickens as well. Which I said last year. I said that. Well, no, the DJ's gone. No, Claypool's gone. Now, I'll be honest. I'm not gonna put too much shit on Claypool. Yeah. He was a really good receiver coming out of it. I think we're all hyped up. I think you hyped me up about him coming out of is it Notre Dame or Notre Dame, whatever how you pronounce it.
But remember what I said to you as well? I was like, but at the time, I was like, the knock on him is he a flex tight end or is he a wide receiver? Because he's not good at running routes, and there's a lot of wide receiver, the basics of being a wide receiver that he just can't do.
Yeah.
And then I was like, if anyone can make this work, it's the Steelers, but it's a bit of a gamble. Well, it's a gamble that didn't pay off.
It was an interesting point I found the other day too, because I went back and watched his highlights from Notre Dame, right? And they're exactly the same way he played in the Steelers. Nothing really changed. And when you see the way that he ran, it was kind of like run down the field, give me a jump ball, and I would out position the player. But then he went to the NFL, and it didn't work in the NFL at all. He got out muscled by guys who are 5'5" or whatever. But to me, if I'm going to grade this and give a number, with everything that happened from him playing for the Steelers and also getting the draft pick back, I'd probably say I'm going to give it maybe a 7. I think he was okay with the Steelers, but then everything kind of fell apart. And 7 might be a bit high, but he came out and had that rookie year, which was fantastic. And I'm not in this episode for the one time, I'm not picking on Claypool. I think a 7. Actually, no, I'm going to go back to a 6. A 6 will do because I think he had a good year, a rookie year, almost like rookie of the year numbers, and then he just regressed every single year, got involved in his head, social media. We all know the story, and now we get JPJ because of that pick.
Do you want to know a really interesting take on this that I was thinking about when we started this draft grading series? And because we were meant to do this show about a week ago, and we forgot about it. We went and just did something else because that's just what Mark and I like to do sometimes. You know how what you just said there? Claypool played at Notre Dame like he played at the Steelers. Now, I know Mason played a lot in 2019. Ben was obviously injured. Ben came back in 2020. If 2020 was Ben's final year, or let's say he couldn't have come back from the injury like they thought he would have, because Mason came from college from an air raid offense, right? And particularly an offense that he played with at Oklahoma State was very much an offense where it was based around the air raid, and it was you get it to a receiver in space and you let the receiver do the work. That's why he worked quite well with Deontay Johnson as well, right? And they could also, make the offense simpler by basically doing a lot of slants, a lot of short passes, quick passes. If your offensive game plan is centered around passing it to a receiver in space, that is what Claypool is going to be good at, because Claypool's a big guy. Claypool, if he can get a ball where he doesn't have to go in for a contested catch, because hell, we know he can't high point the ball. Once you get it to a guy who's 6'4", 230 pounds, 225, 230 pounds, he's going to be very hard to stop against a cornerback, right? And he can. I think he ran a 4.51 or something like that. So he's going to be a hard guy to stop. The problem was Ben did come back, right? Ben did play, and the offense was a bit different. And then, so the way that Ben would have loved to have used an athlete like Claypool, think back to Martavius Bryant, for example, Claypool couldn't play like that, right?
Nope.
And then they also brought in Freiermuth the next year. So even this idea that Chase Paul, even if Claypool was going to move into that flex sort of tight end, they didn't need to do that because they already had Freiermuth that was better for the run game, right? And so Claypool basically became that slot wide receiver. We saw that last year, and then the Steelers offense looked clunky. There was too many guys. They were able to move him out. But I just think that's an interesting narrative of it's kind of like sliding doors. Like if Ben hadn't have come back and Claypool brought in, I still think that ultimately, if you can't run routes in this league, and you're that big, you better be able to high point the ball. And he couldn't even do that. So that's why I don't think he works in the NFL. Like he had a great college career, but he's not going to work for most teams in the NFL simply because he doesn't have enough of the bread and butter traits of a wide receiver that you need.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
So, and it's also kind of why I find the whole Hakeem Butler narrative a little bit interesting, because I'm like, they kind of had this in Chase Claypool. And
you think he's very similar to Claypool?
He is a bit similar, yeah, man.
Yeah, true.
But I think Hakeem Butler can do more on the blocking side than Claypool can. So, and I also think there's also a will thing. Someone brought up in the live chat. Claypool immediately thought he'd be a top 5 wide receiver.
He got to his head, mate. He went to his head straight away after the big season. He went right to his head. He did all the merchandise, the YouTube, that stuff. All the ego went to his head, and everything imploded. And then he started being very disrespectful to everyone on the team. He fought Minka. Minka had a problem with him. So that says something. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So there's a reason why he's out of town now. But he was a very good pick. And the first year was like, wow. And then it went nowhere.
He was good enough that he could be flipped for a second-round draft pick at 32, which was basically like...
Yeah, how do we get that? How do we get
the con artist, man, the con artist.
And then they went there, and the Bears lost 8 games in a row, which made it fall all the way... It's like a perfect trade.
But again, you look at Fields, and if Fields can get him the ball in space...
we'll see. We'll see with the new offseason.
Right? So, it was worth the gamble. I mean, it was only a second-round draft pick, and you got a second-round draft pick back for it. So, winner. All right, so what you gave him a 7, right?
I'm going to go back to 6. 6.
Yeah, all right. You can go 6? All right, we'll go 6. PD. Okay,
the next one's a good one. I think
Alex Highsmith. I mean, we'll have some shows on him shortly about how much he'll cost. I did one in October last year when we're back with Steel Curtain Network. I'm going to dig that out as well. I think I had him on an average of 16.8 per year. I'd have to pull out my notebook though. But yeah, Mark, I mean, Alex Highsmith, he had, what was it? Was it 14 sacks last year?
14 and a half sacks.
14 and a half sacks. So yeah, I mean, incredible for Alex Highsmith, what he's done in the league so far. 3rd round pick out of Charlotte. People thought he was very raw with potential. I remember that year was the 2019 NFL college season. Clemson did pretty well. I remember Clemson saying they had to really game plan against him. I mean, I just think you get straight to the number with a guy like Alex Highsmith. Like, I'd love to give him a 9.5 because I can't give him a 10. And we wouldn't do halves. So I think I got to do I'm going to do a 9.
I'm giving straight up 10, man. I like the where he got him, and I like the way that he's progressing in the NFL as like the opposite to TJ. And I think they will work out a deal. I know some people are saying out there, not a lot of Steel fans, but I've seen some reports saying or ideas going around the internet that they could trade him because he too much money. But you don't let go of a guy like this. You try and find a way to keep him, and you have TJ on one side and you have Highsmith on the other. You make the money work.
They
Yeah.
would have got an edge rusher in the second with the Joey Porter pick, or they would have traded it, right? They
Yeah,
if
but
they were going
the
to
theory was because he's that good of a player, you can't have that good of a player on your team. You want to trade him to get more picks. But I'm like, keep the good player. He's great for the organization. I'm going to say 10 because where they got him at round 3, is it? Was it round 3? That's fantastic. And he's a good bloke on and off the field. He's going to be someone that I guess isn't a bit of like he's in TJ's shadow a little bit. But at the same time, this duo can be the best in the league if TJ's healthy.
Yeah, I want to give him a 10.
I think 10's because I'm so hyped about him too. A bit like Kenny Pickett right now.
It was that second season though, where he didn't quite hit the mark.
But what do you think? What are your expectations for this season though? Going forward in 23, do you think he can get like he can double down and get like sacks and tackles for loss and improve his craft? Like what? It's year
I think
4,
the tackles
right?
for a loss are going to be really important with TJ because he's going to be really important in stopping the run. I like, and I'll never forget what Luke Kuechly said, which is tackles for a loss are the most underrated metric for a linebacker, particularly the middle linebackers. And I know that's not where Highsmith plays, but that should be a lot more well regarded than it is, and like they're almost just as good as sacks because you can stifle a drive, and not every team's going to pass the ball every down, right? So I want to see that go up from Highsmith. I don't expect him to get more than 15 sacks. I think that's going to be pretty hard on.
Can I just read his stats for a little minute because it's not too bad, right? In
Yeah, pull them up
so
because I want to know what the second year was. That's the thing I think the second year he only had 6.5 sacks.
On your side, click Alex Highsmith's name and you'll be able to read them.
No, I know. I just don't want to get the auto ads playing for the listeners.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
Can you hear that in the background? Someone's probably chopping down a tree or something.
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah,
I don't want to. I just these ads that auto play.
Yeah, here we go. It's like down just a tiny bit because look at that. Like that's fantastic. That's not bad. That's why I'm giving him a 10 because I think this year it's going to be even better. Oh, does it play in the background?
Look, he's averaging. Look, the thing is, he's averaging almost.
Look at the tackles he's made. 185 tackles already.
Yeah, he's averaging 7.5 sacks. He's got he's got 6 forced fumbles, averaging 2 of those per year. Pass defenses, I mean, TJ's numbers are insane because he's an alien from another planet. But the quarterback hits are pretty high as well. His AV's pretty good. Yeah, all right, you're convinced.
I'm going to try and maybe find
10.
I wonder what the first 3 years are in comparison to TJ Watt. I wonder if they're very similar.
Oh, TJ was a lot higher than that.
Yeah, right.
You can do that.
But
that's not hard to do. That's just a quick.
So he's got 20 sacks in 3 years, right? I wonder how many didn't TJ have?
Yeah, I can do it. It's up there for everyone right now. Actually, you got to go.
Oh, you can compare both like that. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, well, because I've got the subscription, so compare group of seasons.
I didn't know you could do that. Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, you can only do 2 players if you've got it for free, whereas I've got the full. But this,
so if you do the first 3 seasons, we can see back-to-back stats.
Correct.
But also because TJ Watt was out 1 season, so maybe it's misskewed, but still.
But it won't matter because he was
breaking
out
news right
that.
now. Breaking news.
What's the breaking news?
Well, I've just never seen anything like this on the internet before.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I know this stuff? How do you think I get the numbers? So, all right. So through the first 3 seasons, Highsmith played 49 games versus TJ's 47.
Right.
Highsmith had 41 quarterback hits through his first 3 seasons. TJ had 70. Highsmith had 32 tackles for a loss. TJ had 36. That's pretty cool from Highsmith. That's very high.
Look at his fumbles. 15.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. TJ, man, 22.5 sacks versus 34.5 sacks. Now the difference. So basically, what that is Alex Highsmith averages 7.5 sacks per year. TJ Watt averages 11.5 in his first 3 years. Forced fumbles. Highsmith averaged 2 per season. TJ Watt averaged 5 per season. Interceptions. Alex Highsmith has 1 on his career. TJ Watt in his first 3 years averaged 1 per season. So they've had a very similar overall tackle count. But TJ Watt made a lot more solo tackles there, and also, obviously his quarterback hits and his tackles for a loss and his sacks are a bit higher. But I mean, pretty incredible still from a 3rd round pick versus TJ in the 1st round. But even then, people thought TJ was a a leap in the first round, which is thank God we did get him in the first round, not the second round, because you got the 5th year option, which is a lot cheaper than signing him to a new deal. But yeah, pretty incredible. But that's
cool.
that's why I'm giving him a 9, because they're giving the same numerical grade to everyone, and like TJ's numbers are the standard. The standard is the standard. So Alex Highsmith gets a 9.
Do you think we're the best duo at outside linebacker in the NFL?
TJ only had 34.5. That's averaging 11.5 per season his first 3 years. That's pretty good. Do we have the best linebacking core?
Like the outside linebacking core, the edge blokes. These blokes here.
Are you saying statistically, or are you saying if fit, like on their day?
Stats.
I'd have to go have a look. I mean, Khalil Mack and
Joe like overall, like, do we have the best? We like number one. The TJ Watt.
As I say though, Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa on their day are going to be pretty potent, right? Like,
because Highsmith's the unforgotten guy, a bit like Lamar Woodley.
Yeah, I mean they'd be up there. It also depends whether you're a 3-4 or 4-3. I think it's very hard to. Yeah. Probably out of the 3-4 teams, yeah, I'd say it's the best.
So you're giving a 9, I'm giving a 10.
Yeah.
Okay. Good breakdown, man. Good
I love how deep we went into that one. But he's probably I would argue that he's the player of the draft class.
Oh, right? Yeah. Big time.
So
big time.
With an average of 2.
I don't know why it does this. Reference. Fix it. I press pause. Don't play. I don't understand. I love it. I pay for your tool. Do it properly. Oh man, ranting today. All right, let's get into Anthony McFarland Jr. The only thing memorable he did was bend through it on that 4th down in the game, the playoff game against the Browns at their death, and nothing happened. But that's the only thing. McFarland.
I think I've seen him run a few times. That's about it. You're never on the field. I'm going to have to probably, but also where they drafted him, I'm probably going to give like maybe do I give a negative? Maybe a 4. Honestly, I haven't seen much from him. I reckon someone's going to take his spot this year. I reckon one of the undrafted guys, or
he's a practice squad guy for me again.
Yeah, I'm gonna give a 4. So that might have been a miss on their part there. Round 4 pick, Anthony McFarland. They wanted him for that 3rd down back. Injuries never happened. Fell on his own feet. He's never really ran the ball that well. The idea around him playing it, fantastic. When you see him on the field, it doesn't happen. He hasn't got it. So I'm gonna go 4 if I can.
Cool. I'm going 3.
3, even worse. What? Okay. How can you add to that then? Why would you go like one step down? What else is really bad about his career at the moment?
I mean, putting aside the fact your best ability is your availability, as we know Tomlin likes to say, he trips over his own feet. In fairness, I don't think we've had the line that supports him. But like last year, he should have if he was good last year, like if he was good or had a shot at making a difference and being a part of the depth chart and the Steelers at running back, last year would have been his year when we had Benny Snell, who was a known commodity, a bit slower, and he's a change of pace. But Warren came straight in and was a much better running back. Now, Warren shouldn't have been undrafted. That's very, very clear. I just would have thought if he was something, that's when he was going to compete. I heard he beefed up a little bit. Anyway, yeah, it's just a 3. That's just what.
Is it concerning that he's only had 42 rushes in his career as a 4th rounder? You think?
What I find a little bit odd is, and again, I know it's not, you can't madden up these things, but like they did try to use him in the short passing game. I wonder whether he would be better trying to become a receiver because he's quick enough, right? If he can catch the football, because I'd like to see him where he's not behind the line of scrimmage, where he needs an awesome line to be able to hit a hole. And he's an outside runner anyway. And the Steelers haven't done too well there. Like look at Najee. Najee does well because he goes straight up the middle. The Steelers haven't had the tackles to set the edge like that. So I honestly just think McFarland Jr., I don't think he necessarily fits what this offense can do. I thought they wanted him to be a different X Factor style back. It's never really turned out. A little bit of that's due to the availability. And I think a little bit of that's due to the scheme. I think it's a little bit due to his actual ability on the field.
Isn't it like this could be a bit of a stretch here, but wouldn't you know how the Chiefs use that Clyde Edwards-Helaire?
Yeah.
Wouldn't they want to use him like that, like the screen games, that kind of stuff, quick passes?
That's what I would have thought as well. But then again, if you want to do screen game, your O-line better be able to block their men because you're putting the quarterback under a stack ton of pressure. And the Steelers probably didn't want to do that with Ben there as a veteran, like after all the hits he took early in his career. And you certainly don't want to do that to a rookie quarterback
because
like
he gets involved.
So that's what I'm saying. He doesn't fit the offense. I could see him working for another team. I just don't think he fits the offense.
Yeah, like run down through the tackles kind of mentality where he's like more or less get me the ball and I'll spin out and juke move out.
Like,
yeah,
exactly. So yeah, anyway, gets a 3 from me. We'll move on to, and also it's contextualized against Kevin Dotson, who was also drafted in the 4th round out of Louisiana Lafayette. He played alongside Robert Hunt, who plays for the Dolphins and has had a decent career. Now, Dotson's a really hard one to grade for me because at times Dotson can be Pro Bowl quality. I remember Jeffrey Benedict after a couple of years back, who's with the Steelcat Network, was saying like this guy could be an absolute awesome guard, but then he lets himself down and he's not consistent and he's had injury woes as well. But he was a 4th round guy that no one, like I remember that draft and hardly anyone had any tape on this guy. And maybe if it wasn't COVID and it was a normal draft process, he would have gone much higher in terms of the board and the narrative and even being picked a bit earlier.
I got a theory for you. If we got him in this year's draft with the line we have now, we'd love it. I reckon.
I agree.
If he came in now, we'd be like, oh, this guy's huge. We've got Ciamalo, we've got Daniels. Let's go back up.
So my thing with I've been one that said for at least a year and a half now, you may want to move Dotson. Remember I said even in the draft, I could see them moving Dotson. I would love Dotson to be the backup at guard, right? Because knowing what the how the season goes, all the rest of it. But they did go sign Nate Herbig, right? And he is on his last year. I think they'll keep him because he's cheap depth. But like, my thing is, he's good enough that another team will pay him the money to lead the Steelers. If they instead were able to say to him, hey, we want you to be like Steel for the next 4 or 5 years, or let's say they were moving James Daniels to center, for example, I'd love them to like sign him to a cheaper long-term deal. I'd be okay with that. But I don't think he's going to take a cheap hometown discount with the Steelers. And that's why I've suggested moving him. I still wouldn't be surprised if he gets moved before the trade deadline, right? Halfway through, week 8 of the season. I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying they will. I understand keeping him because he's cheap and very, very good depth. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, I mean, but as for the actual pick, like, I can't give him lower than a 7 in the 4th round with what he's done. I'd love to give him an 8. I don't think the fact that we've brought in different people to replace him quite quickly. And, that can be sometimes a change of scheme, but like he had a chance last year to show a lot of the new people in the Steelers front office and coaching staff what he could do. I give it a 7. I had higher hopes for him. And I think if you'd asked me a year or two ago, I probably would have said a 9 just because you got a starter in the 4th round like that at guard who's actually pretty good. I love that he's a Steeler fan. I love all those videos of him towing the truck, as part of his preparation for the NFL during COVID. And maybe the COVID stuff's, stunted his development a little bit as a player. I don't know. But
I agree. I'm going to give him a 7 too. I think if he's playing depth behind this line, then that's a good spot to be. He's already started, so I think we agree on that. And when they got him that at round 4, because I'm keen to see what Ciamalo can do. But if he can back up behind that, then he's started before. So, and like I said, if we drafted him this year and he was a young rookie, we'd be excited the size of the guy. So correct. I'd go 7 as well.
Yeah, sick.
Here are the fun ones that aren't even on the team anymore. I don't know where Brooks is. Where's Brooks at?
So I had in my head that Bugs was in this draft class, but he's clearly not. Bugs must have been the year before, 2019. So Antoine Brooks won a Super Bowl with the Rams. Did you know that?
Did he?
And then he
Really?
played on the 49ers, I think, for a little bit. I have to pull him up.
Was he on the practice squad or was he on the actual team?
He was on the 53 that won the Super Bowl. I'm just pulling him up for everyone. So, so he was there with the Rams, and then
It says here in 2021 he had 3 tackles.
So he didn't play last. I think he was on practice squads last year.
I think he might be in the XFL. Actually,
probably. He got waived. He got waived before the season last year. So yeah, he might be in the XFL.
What did he? What did he ever do for the Steelers? Didn't play. We played 4 games. Never started for the Steelers. Nothing.
He wasn't fast enough to be like a free safety or like the play the Mike Hilton role, but he was too small to be a box safety. That was his problem. It was a gamble pick. I mean, that's where he got.
I just wonder where he is. He might be. Maybe he's in the XFL. I don't know.
He might be in that or the USFL. He might be in the USFL.
He got waived in 2022 by the Rams.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he got waived before the 2022 season. So
maybe he's like out completely. That's how quick the NFL goes, eh?
I don't know. Give him a. It's hard because he was a 6. Although 6th-round pick, you expect better. I'm gonna give that a 4. I give that a 4. I'm not going even Stevens at 5 because we haven't seen.
You know what? Because he's not in the NFL anymore, I'm going to give him a 3. I'm going to go 1 below.
Oh wow! Okay, so you think worse of him than you do Anthony McFarland Jr. That's actually probably it's kind of fair, but then he also has a Super Bowl.
I just always find it interesting how they're just here in the league. The next minute they're gone. You just never talk about them again. You know, it's just crazy.
Quality goals.
Hey, mate.
It's classic. I love
the last one too.
That's a great name, exotic soy sauce.
The last one. Did you know that Carlos Davis was in the team last year?
Yeah.
I found that out today.
And his brother as well.
Fake Steelers fan. I looked up his stats just then. I didn't realize he was on the team. He played in 1 game and he had 1 tackle.
Yeah.
I think. And
they moved him back to the practice squad? Or did they?
Oh, so he must have been on the squad back and forth, right, throughout the season?
Yeah. He had a sack last year.
Isn't his brother with the Lions? Who went to the Lions? That's Bugs. You're talking about Bugs.
Went to the Lions. Yeah, I know. You have it in your head that Bugs is in this draft, but he wasn't. He was.
Bugs is doing quite well over there too. I think he started.
Yeah, he's in 2019. Yeah, he signed a 3-year, $6 million deal or something. $5 million, $6 million average or something.
Isaiah Bugs. Where was he? What draft was he?
2019. He was here before.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he starts now. He got a 3-year deal, I think.
I'd give Carlos Davis a 5 or a 6 because he stayed on the team for 3 seasons and he was a 7th-round draft pick. You got to give him a 6 at least.
Hang on.
What do you mean, hang on? Give you a number.
I'm looking up Bugs.
I don't care about Bugs. He's not the 2020 draft class. Stick to the show.
Just give me a minute. I'm just reading his stats.
Do you know that Carlos Davis Jr. ran a 4.52 40? Oh, sorry, shuttle. Pretty quick.
Was that? Carlos Davis ran what?
He ran a 4.52 shuttle and a 4.82 40 yard. Not bad.
All right, I'll come back to the guys on our team. All right.
Yeah, stick with the program.
So he's got. I don't know. Is he now a free agent? He's gone, isn't he? Was he on the squad? I don't think he's in the team anymore. Is he?
Nah, he might be.
Carlos
but
Davis.
They can bring him back. They know he's a known commodity. I'm giving him a 6 because he was a 7th-round draft pick. Yeah, well, listen, hear me out. He's a 7th-round draft pick that was on the team for 3 years. That's pretty rare.
And he got 12 tackles in total.
And a sack.
And 1 sack. I don't know. I mean, if they're not on the team, I'm gonna give him like a 4.
How do you give him a 4, man? He's done more than McFarland. You gave McFarland a 4.
All right. Okay.
He's done McFarland. Be respectful.
But he's not on the team anymore. Actually, was he? He
was a 7th-round draft pick that was there for 3 seasons.
Which Davis was it in that preseason game that knocked out that player, that Seahawk, to end the game?
I'm pretty sure it was Carlos.
Was it Carlos? Are you sure?
Yeah.
If it's him, I'll give him a 10.
Pretty sure it was. Because his brother wasn't on the team. His brother only came last year.
Is it? Do you remember seeing that?
Number
Tom was like,
73.
yes,
Was it 73?
I can't remember. If Steeler Nation knows, okay, I'll give him a 6 then. But if he was that Davis,
He
then
gets a
that was
9.
one of the best body tackles I've ever seen in my life. The guy's running down the field, he went bang, smashed him. So, yeah, I'll give him what do I have 4? I'll go 6 then. You talk me into it,
All right. So you have.
and I'm gonna find out who that tackle.
So I've got your total number for this draft class.
What is it?
It's 36.
36
36 out of 60. 60%.
That's
My
not
number?
bad. Yep.
My number, 35. We're one difference again.
Jeez.
Which means, my other notebooks my other notebooks in the other room. But I know that these are now. Oh, hang on.
Oh, mate. It was 68. It was the other brother. Wait, where's he going?
The other brother. So are you now gonna drop him?
Nah, it was the other brother. Khalid Davis, 68. Smashed him. Absolutely took him off his rocker. Oh. It's one of the best hits. That's one that we won 32-25, and they say preseason football doesn't matter. Absolutely rocked him, dude. I'm watching it now. They pass back, and then 68's just lining him up, getting ready, and all across the field, bam! Oh my goodness, Mike Thomas loved it. All right,
I'm trying to find the one.
Yeah, J-Double said Khalid Davis made the hit. Yeah, I'll give him a 10. Give that bloke a contract.
Well, we didn't draft him, man.
Doesn't matter.
I'm trying to find the number our numbers overall.
All right, you do that. I'm going to watch the hit again. It's
keep the show going.
I am keeping the show going. Number 68, boom, like that, knocks him out of his socks, mate.
We're getting the vibe back from the 6.5 hour live stream.
Okay, sorry. All right, my bad. No, I had to. So that was the preseason game. We won 32-25 and absolutely rocks him over.
No, it is in this notebook.
You're telling me to get my show together, and you're looking for a bloody notebook. Oh,
well,
mate.
I'm trying to give you what the overall averages are, so we can close out the 4 drafts. Thanks very much.
Oh, Maurice says there's 3 of them. There's 3. Is there 3 Davises? Is there 3?
Oh, here we go. I got it. All right, so 156, 270. 6. Around quick math from Matty. 192.
Oh, boom! Just hit him right in the head. Took him right out.
156.
George says, if you can't show the video, can you draw it in cartoon?
Describe it with your hands, Mark.
Oh man, because I watched that the other day. I watched the preseason football game, the highlights, just for some reason, and I remember, Mike Tom was so excited.
So we've graded the 2021, 2021, 2022 draft classes, right? Out of 270, I gave the grades a total of 191, and you gave a total of 193.
Yeah, right. Well, the key players for me are Highsmith in the Claypool trade, and I think Dotson being depth and McFarlane did not your last year is this year to show out. That's it.
McFarlane, I don't even think he's there on the roster, man.
Yeah, they're gonna go with someone else probably.
So basically, you've given them a grade of 71%.
Yeah, I think it's about right. I think it's where we're sitting now too, and setting ourselves up for the.
I think I'm a bit less
season.
than that. I think I'm 69%.
I'd say that's about right, but
70. I'm 70.
So I gave Highsmith 10, and I gave I think Dotson 7 or something. So
I'm just saying overall across all 3 drafts, that's what you gave.
Mm-hmm. If we didn't get
DeMarcus Christmas. Do you remember Dan McCullers as well?
Dan McCullers, what number was he? He was 93, wasn't he? I think.
Yeah. He had
He was on the
the
roster for a
nude
long time. He
pictures
was
of the-
okay. There was some.
Oh, he wasn't.
plays-
He was awful.
I said okay. What draft was he? Did we go back?
2014?
Was it? Let's go back. Let's keep going back every week until we get to like 2008.
We can go back further than that. I can get out my master spreadsheet.
All right.
I'll tell you. Hang on, let me pull up. I'll pull up and I'll tell you when I'll pull up the master sheet.
For the drafts.
Yeah.
Are you happy the draft's over now? I'm kind of like, what are we going in now? OTAs around the corner, isn't it? OTAs next. Things are really starting to ramp up.
We've got rookie minicamp.
That's already happened.
I know. I'm just shit.
Yeah, mate. I know my Steelers, mate. I know them. People think I know them.
What year was Dan McCullers?
I thought it was
he drafted? No, he went in the draft. He was the 6th round, wasn't he?
I think it was like 2014. I feel
that's what I just said.
Yeah,
he was 6th round draft pick in 2014. There you go.
He was on the team for about 4 years, wasn't he?
No, it was longer than that. I think 2020 was the year he left.
Yeah,
he did because he left with the COVID. Remember COVID? You were allowed to bring veterans into the practice squad, and he left through that.
Why do they love Dan McCullers so much?
Yeah, he was huge.
That's crazy. Number 93, Dan McCullers, and what is his stats? He played for the Bears, apparently.
Yeah, he did.
That's interesting.
And he went to the Jags as well. I think he was on that practice squad.
Okay, so he's got in total tackles. Big Dan, he played 6. Was it 6 years? What draft was he? 7, 6. Wow.
14.
I give that a 10.
Oh,
That's
come
amazing.
on.
Longevity, mate. He got 49 tackles, 24 solo, and tackles for 4, 9 QB hits.
Please.
2.5 sacks, 0 fumbles. Pass deflections, 2. Game started, 3. Good old Big Dan. So was he from 2014 to 20? Wow, that's crazy.
Any other draft questions before we wrap up the show?
Draft questions. Who?
Do you know the Steelers picked a Willie back-to-back in 2006 between round 3 and round 4? They picked 2 Willies.
Was it Willie Cologne, wasn't it?
And Willie Reed.
Right. Who's Willie Reed?
Who's a wide receiver at Florida State. Right.
I don't know what questions. What year you want me to go?
Whatever.
I have no idea. I'm not prepared for this.
Remember when you asked me the random ones, like who was the 6th pick in the 1972 draft?
All right, we'll do that. What about? Nah, that's too far back though. What about who's the last? Who's the last tight end besides Muth? Is that Gentry? Oh, it's Connor Haywood.
Yes. Well, wait, last one before Freiermuth or after Freiermuth?
Before.
Gentry was 2019, so it would be Gentry.
Devil says, do you have Duck Hodges in there? Was he drafted by us? No, he's undrafted.
No, he went undrafted.
Yeah, right.
He was undrafted. Oh, so someone else drafted him. Steelers didn't draft him.
I can't remember. Yeah, I have 0 questions, man. I have no idea. Draft season's over. Go on your rant again to finish the show. Why do you hate Kenny Pickett? Nah.
I'm a big fan of Kenny.
There's a question from Exotic Source. How do you guys feel about Corey Trice?
Big fan, man. I'm excited for him.
Yeah.
I just need some time to get into his tape. I'm keen to get into his tape and have a look at it.
You think he's going to start? Or work his way into starting? Like in the future?
He might, but it'll be post-bye. Yeah, I'm a fan of Corey. Who do we invite to camp? Antonio Brown.
Maybe Duck. I think Duck.
Did we? Really?
Yeah, I think that's how. Yeah, because he was undrafted.
Oh, I thought you meant this camp. Like now, I'm like,
No.
He's been a supportive boyfriend to Laney, you know.
If he came back, I think Steel Nation would lose their mind. They'd be happy.
I like Duck. I went to that Bills game. No.
How's that being a fan and he couldn't even see Big Ben? That sucks.
Yeah.
The injury, right? And
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, we wait all that time and you get Duck. That's unfortunate.
Do you know? Actually, I shouldn't say this because now we'll never get to go. Do you know I have never seen a sports team that I go for in America win?
How many games you been to? There's more than 8 that you never go again.
Might be. Well, I mean, I supported the Phoenix Suns when Nash was there. I watched the Suns beat the Knicks, but Nash wasn't on there, so it kind of doesn't count. But maybe 5 or 6 games of different sports.
You've never seen your team win. That's bad.
I know.
That's at a 6 game. That's pretty bad.
I know.
I saw the Christmas game and they're 1-0. So, but
okay.
Yeah, but that's
sorry.
The
odds are stacked in your favor. You're on a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, and I had Big Ben, Antonio Brown in the end, and Rodgers and all those guys, and Debo Harrison. Okay. Well, the Bills were pretty good that year, weren't they? Someone's probably not.
Yeah, they were gun that year. Yeah, what's happening out there? You got like Woody Woodpecker next year. Laptop.
Stay home. I would.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if you went to a game, right? You went to another game and you didn't win again, like 7 in a row. That'd be terrible.
You can listen to me.
Oh my goodness, someone's tapping out here, mate. You can hear it, can't you?
Yeah. There we go. Any other things before we wrap up the show? Let these good listeners enjoy their evenings.
Okay, well, you know what I want to say? I think, oh my goodness, someone's tapping. But the OTAs next week. Let's get pumped up. Let's get excited. This team's going to be fun to watch. I'm done. I'm done, actually.
You know what? Guys, still fans out there, whenever you listen to this, have a good weekend. Hope you had a good weekend. That's going to wrap it up for this week. Steelers Touchdown Under Boys. The 2020 draft class. It's a wrap. As always, Marky D.
Go Steelers.